Okay, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Please confirm that you can hear me. Okay. I want to believe that we had a great day and also I want to apologize for sending out the resources very late. Pardon me. And yeah, so we'll just run through a recap of what we did in the last um, session. So it seems, Samuel, you were not in the last class, right? And Jolly, I think these two names are looking new. So welcome to our session. Yeah, so we will just briefly run through what we did on Tuesday. Then yes, then we'll continue. So basically we started with why what Python is. Of course, it's a programming language and it's used in multiple tech stacks or technologies. And why do you need to learn Python since you've learned other tools for data analysis? The reason is because Python helps you to work with larger data set, and you can also automate. So it aids automation, and it's also open source program, so you don't need to pay to access. And then of course there are community and the rest of that, which we discussed in the video and is still in the PDF. And then after that we got to do the installation. So there are different IDEs, which is the integrated development environment that you can use to work with Python. But for the sake of this class, we are using Jupyter Notebook for the offline version, and then we also use Google Collaboratory for those who um, have issues with their system memory space or any other thing, or you just want to explore the both interfaces, right? They are basically both the same. You can once you've mastered one, you can always work with the other one. So there's nothing special between whether you're using Anaconda, Jupyter Notebook, or Google Colab, or any other um collab IDE. Just that you ensure that you're working with notebook. um yeah, so you just ensure that you're working with the notebook version, not python file. And then we also after that we wrote um our first line of code, and we said that we use the print. So here I wrote it in uppercase. If we write it this way in the IDE to throw an error, so all print is in lowercase. So um yeah, so we use the print function to display to tell the program that you want to display something, right? So you use print to call to display something, to display an output. And then we also said that Python has syntaxes. So syntaxes are basically like our grammar punctuation, just the way you use punctuation marks in English language, right? So that is the same way syntaxes work. So they are syntaxes for every specific operation you do. Just like you will not put full stop in where you are supposed to put comma in English grammar. Same way you will not quote where you're supposed to put a comma or an apostrophe or any of that. Yeah, so that's basically syntax. So when you hear of syntax, just what should come to your mind is just punctuation, right? Should just be like the synonym in your head, right? Then so after that we talked about variables. And what are variables? We say they are containers for storing data. And then we talk about declaring a variable. So in some might say you are declaring a variable, some will say you're creating a variable or creating a container. Whichever English, they are both the same. So we declare a variable, and we'll talk that there are rules guiding that. One, that variables should variable names are as case sensitive, and that they do not begin with numbers, but you can begin with underscore or a letter, and then you can mix. It can be alphanumeric, but then it should not just begin with a number. And then the yeah, so you can start a variable name with an underscore, and of course it does not allow white space. So those this is basically what we treated on Tuesday. So before we move on, if there's anyone who, from summary or from the videos you've watched or from the class, you need any clarification before we move on, because we are going to be building on, this knowledge, right? So if there's any way you need us to talk about before we move on to today's topic, then let's do that quickly. Okay, so I want to believe we are all good. Okay. So I want to believe that we're all good. So today we'll be looking at um how we declare variables. Yeah, and then of course you will not always keep declaring variables, right? There are times you want your user to be the one to input the variable value. So we will also look at how you can create a variable that takes user input. And then we'll also look at data types, and then we'll look at typecasting, um Python operators, data structures, lists. I will basically just focus on lists um for this class. And then we'll also look at indexing and slicing, right? So these are the topics we're going to treat today. So let's dive in. So as a refresher for what we did, uh okay, so let me open Colab. So I want to believe every other person has their environment running, whether Colab or Jupyter Notebook, because we will be switching in between, right, between the slides and our notebook to try our hands. Okay, so we'll continue from this. Uh, okay, so let me share this screen instead. Okay, so we'll continue from this notebook we started with in class. And let me open this thing. Okay. So let's go back, start with declaring a variable for those who are not in class with us. So let's think of declaring a variable with, yeah, so this, I'm using my Google Colab um notebook. You can use any of the environment. You can use Jupyter Notebook if you've installed. If you've not installed, then you can use your Google Colab. Just the way you access Google Tools, you can access it from there. Okay. So remember that our code cell is where we write our code, and then the text cell. So in Jupyter Notebook is markdown. So the text cell is just basically where you write um non-runnable text. Like you can write anything, but the kernel will not run it as a code. It will just treat it as a normal random text, or just normal text, maybe like your description of what your operation you're about to take or something. So that's what the text cell does. Yeah, so here we want to create another variable. Now remember we said that variables made up of three things: um the variable name, the assignment operator, what assigns it, and then the value you want to save into the variable. So here we want to create TDE course, TDI course. And remember that TDI, remember that variable naming does not allow for white space. So you can use the underscore to differentiate um to differentiate what's the name, words, or you can use the, so you can use this other format to to name them, right? So remember that we said variable names are case sensitive. So whatever value we store in here and the one we store in here, will they be the same? Like, can we reference them as same? Mhm. So here will be data science. Then we can have TDI. Okay, so data science tools. So we can have data science tools. Then we can have maybe Python. And so you can use either the shift enter to run as keyboard shortcut, or you can use this play symbol here to run, or you can still come here and choose if you want to run. So this run all means the entire cells that the whole program you want to run it, but you can just decide to just run a specific cell using here or shift enter. So the shift enter as keyboard shortcut also works for for Anaconda notebook, right? So we've created this course, but what if we've created this variable now where the programmer is the one that assigns value inside the variable. And of course we can reference it now. So after we've run it, we can reference it now. So referencing basically is to fetch the data. We already know that this variable name or the container is created to store this value inside. So wherever you want to fetch the value that is inside here, you just reference this variable name. So how do you reference? Say we want to display what is stored inside here. We use the syntax, the function print. So we just so let me just copy it and paste, and then it displays what was saved inside. So this can work well when, okay, you need maybe the admin or the programmer to be giving the value for the variable. So what if we are now creating an attendance sheet where we want students to enter their name and save it in the program? Does it mean that the programmer now, so maybe I will now start to save, to create variable one, variable two, so that we can accommodate all the students. So maybe we say student one. So it will become a very tedious work if I have to be the one to assign every time. So maybe student one is Mr. Alfred. What if this student who is student one or who is student ID one changes? So maybe later something happens and this person with student ID 01 now is now changed, is no longer Alfred. It becomes a problem. So we now have where you can create variable name in such a way that users can enter their data by themselves. So we still follow the same procedure. So let's put student name equal to, now because we want users to input their data, then you can give the input instruction. This now is optional. If you just leave it like this, it will still work, but it's essential that you put the input instruction. So we can say enter your name. So it gives guide, right? So that when someone logs in, he knows that, okay, this text box is, this is the information I need to enter. Okay, Mr. Alfred. Yeah, I can hear you. I'm waiting. You can speak, Mr. Alfred. Your hands are raised. Your hand is raised, sorry. Hi, Mr. Alfred. Are you trying to speak? Okay, fine. Um, yeah. So this now help us to take input from user. So Alfred can come and save Alfred and enter, and then another person can come and also input their own name, so maybe Blessing. So you see, it saves us the stress for having to declare a new variable at every instance, right? So you just create this variable that takes user input, and then users can enter their details by themselves. So this works very well in terms of maybe sign in or login, so because you will not always have the access to, you will not always have that chance to log in manually. So just imagine that you wanted to log in Facebook and you need to contact someone at Facebook office to log you in for every time you want to log in. It will be very overbearing for both the Facebook team members and even you who is the user, right? So this is where the input using input variable comes in, very becomes important, right, in programming. So let's try our hands on. First, we'll create a variable that takes like have assigned a default value. So okay, so create a variable that takes a defined value, any value of your choice, create, and then afterwards we'll now also create a variable that takes user input. So let's do those hands on quickly. Let's try our hands. Does anyone want to share their screen? Hi Samuel, Jolly, uh Ugochi and Rofiwa. Is anyone working? Does anyone want to share their screen?
Sadly, I came late, so I'm not even sure where we are. I'm just trying to get a grasp of what has been happening today.
Okay, so we just basically started from declaring a variable. You're in class the other time, last on Tuesday. Yeah, so we're just declaring a variable and then we'll declare another variable that takes user input. So this let me so basically this is what we're doing. So I just want you to replicate this, like, declare a variable that has a defined um input, and then also declare a variable that takes user input.
Okay, just to share my screen, that's all.
Yes, I just want to because so that it doesn't feel like I'm talking to myself. Yeah. So Jolly,
Okay, my screen. I don't have the. I'm using the other one, the Anaconda or the Jupiter Note. That's what I have. Can I
okay.
share that one?
Yes, both, I told you both are the same. It's just the interface. Everything is the same.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, sorry, let me stop sharing. Hi, welcome back, Mr. Alfred. You had your hand raised before the network kicked you out.
Yes. Like I wasn't seeing your screen, so I thought like it's support or something. Not knowing it's my network.
Okay.
Can you see my screen now?
Not yet from my end. I don't know if any other person is seeing it.
Not yet.
My shared icon is not highlight.
Okay, so anyone can just share. It just so I feel I know that people are following along with me. I don't just want to be going, right? So that's why. So anybody
Or can
can.
you stop sharing before we share?
I've stopped
Maybe you
sharing.
stop
I've
sharing.
I've stopped sharing. Yeah, Omolola.
Yeah, I think I can share.
Okay, so it's please do.
Okay. Can everyone see my screen now?
Yes, it is up.
Okay.
Okay. So we are creating a variable that has a defined, so this one now is you, the programmer or the admin, giving a defined um name for your variable. So let's start. Anything, variable name, anything, just anything. Let's just create.
So are you suggesting I create a variable name?
Yes, please.
Okay. Just the way you had student's name.
Yes, yes,
Something like this.
yes, please.
Okay. Equal to.
Yeah. No, quote. So you can use it. No, you're not quote. Yes, just quote. So you can use either the single or double quote, but whichever whichever quotation type you decide to start with, you should also close it. So if you open with single quotes, you should ensure that you close with single quotes. And if you open with double quotes, you ensure you close with double quotes. Yeah, so
Okay. So we have student's name equals Princeton.
okay. So let's run and we'll print it. So run it. Yeah, so now it has saved in the memory. So let's display and see the value that is saved in student name.
Okay,
Remember?
so do I run it before printing it?
No, so if both ways will work. If run it now is been saved. But even if you didn't run it first, when you run it, they'll both run together since they are in the same
How do
cell.
I know it's saved?
Can you see one? Can you see the is it this one at the end of your like what's the name? At the left hand side of your cell? No, your where you wrote student name. Student name.
Okay,
Can you
okay.
see that it's numbered?
Yes.
So it means that that's a like you've run it successfully, it has run and it's saved. So if it was not successful, you'd have thrown an error. Either
Okay.
yes, so it should have shown you an error. So now let's print. Let's
Okay.
print the value in student name.
Okay. Print.
Great. No, we want to display the value there. We're not creating a variable now. we want to display the value of student name.
Because
Print um no parenthesis, yes.
No, it's not.
So you remove that equal to, please. No, 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 no. Can someone help us? Yeah, great. So you can run it. You can use your keyboard for shortcut. Great, great. Yeah. So we've created a variable and we've displayed the value. So now let's also create another variable that takes user input. So now you will not always know the student's name, right? So you want students to be able to enter their name by themselves. So let's create another one that takes user input. So the same way, it starts with giving the variable name first.
Okay, so I lost that part. So you might need to give provide guidance. Do we also still say use student name?
Yes, so let's still use student name.
Okay.
I think we should use a different scenario so that it will be nice.
Okay,
Maybe let's use
I also wanted you to see how we said variables are reassignable.
Yes, let's finish it with that one so that it will be understandable. Let's continue.
Okay, so now that we've initially used a proper noun, yeah, so what are we trying to define here now? Because that was where I lost it when you.
Okay, so now what we are doing is basically, when
Sorry.
so you know the idea of variable basically is for you to be able to save data in your system memory, right? So that you can fetch it later afterwards. So just look at your variable. When you hear variable, just use the Excel scenario to understand how you're entering value inside a cell in your worksheet, right?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah. So I want you to, like, when you hear variable, just use it to assume how you enter data in your cell in your worksheet. So let's say a value that you enter in column A, row 1 cannot be the same as the value in column A, row 2. And then when you want to fetch the value in column A, row 1, it will give you, like, you will just fetch it directly. So that's what variable is like. It's assigning a portion where you save a particular value to. Do you understand? So now, because you
Yeah.
want to save it, we don't have cells and cells in Python. So you have to give it a name and say, okay, inside this portion, I want to create a portion within the system memory. Give it this name and assign this value inside for me.
Okay. So are we repeating
Yeah.
adding
Okay.
another name
So in this
to
case
this?
now, right, we've created, okay, I think it's confusing. So let's change the name now. Then I will do the reassigning part later. Change the name so that you will not be confused. So give it any name now.
Give what any name?
So now this variable we want to create, don't use student
Yeah.
name again. Okay, so you can just use student
So
or
create another
school.
variable.
Yes.
Okay, so let's say courses
Okay, fine.
or course.
Course, yes.
Course name.
It's fine. Yeah, then equal to. Yeah. So now we are not the one giving the course name, because we don't know what this student Pristine is offering in TDI. Do you understand?
Mm.
So wants
Yeah.
Princeton to enter the course he's offering or he's interested in taking. So we will now
Okay.
use a function called impute. So you put impute, you type impute, then open parent. I said I was going to do open, yes. Then now if you just open and close and run it, it will perfectly run. But just so that we give users context, they know what they need to enter there, then you give like a text description so that users can know what they want to enter.
Mm.
So
So
yes, so we can now say enter your course of choice. But here you have to
okay.
quote it because we want it to display. Yeah, so you're quoting it. No, quote and write enter your choice, your course, because we want to know the course that the person wants to offer. We are not the one giving him the course, assigning the course to him now or her.
Can I use space here now? Now
Yes,
since
yes, you
I'm
can use
defining.
space. You can use space. So whatever you enter here like this, when you quote, it will give you garbage in, garbage out. Great. So run. So you see enter your choice of course. So you can enter the course you want to enter. Okay,
Is
so
that
it's,
what is expected?
yeah, so you see that it has, because you entered Python, enter your choice of course, Python. Mm, okay. Yes. So this Python is your response. So stop sharing. Let me continue. Thank you so much. Is Ugochi right that shared?
No, it's Amalola.
Okay, Omolola. Thank you so much, Omolola. Okay, so let me share. Okay. So this impute ability for users to take it to make their input basically just so that you reduce the bulk work. Imagine that we had to enter data of 200 persons or 300 persons, and then we now have to be to declare each person individually, right? But with the input, it gives users the leverage to be able to also have a feel like interact with the system too, and it also reduces work at the end of the developers end or the data scientist end, right? It reduces the work. So of course we can always save this into a collection. As we go further, we'll see how we can have multiple people enter their names, and then we'll have a whole table, like we have a Excel display or a whole data frame of all the users input, right? So this is how you're able to take input from users. um yeah. So now we'll be looking at variable, data types, because when you're working with data, you have to be conscious of what data type you work with. Of course, you've done SQL and you've been introduced to data types already. So in SQL, we have strings, we have Boolean, we have numbers, and yeah. So with Python, numbers are divided into two groups. We have floats, and then we have integers. Then we have strings and Boolean. So let's go to data types. So with these data types, they are what will now help you manipulate your variables better to give them specific what hash again. Okay. Yeah, so here we'll be talking. So you see how we use the text cell basically, so you can also add other text to say okay, so types of data types. So we have one, types, the four major data types. So we have strings denoted by str. We have boolean denoted by bool. We have integer denoted by int, and we have strings, boolean, integer, and floats denoted by this, right? So this, let me give them header. So these are the four major data types we have in Python. Control-C. So the strings, basically they are character-based data. So we have the strings, they are character-based data type, like just like we have this data science, Python. So all these are string data type because they are character based. So the character base is whether special characters, alphabets, they are considered as string. So once you write any of those, the system automatically picks them as string. Then we also have the boolean. So booleans basically are used to check truthfulness or falseness a of a condition, right? So to check if a condition is true or not. So basically they are true or false. Booleans read in true or false. Then we have integer. So integers are whole numbers, 1, 2, 3, any whole number. Then floats are decimal point numbers, right? So those are the four data types. Now when you are, because there are cases where you'll be working with and you cannot enter a numeric data in certain points, just like in this case, right? So because we've not specified the data type, if I enter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but there is no course like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So if we are now able to restrict the data, the kind of data that should be entered here, then it will now help us not to enter numbers where we are supposed to enter character based data. So let's begin. So okay, so I also said I wanted us to look at how you can we said variables are reassignable. So I wanted us to look at how you can reassign variable. So just so you know, here we have this TDI course, data science. What if I come here and create another variable with the same spelling, TDI underscore course, and I give maybe management information science. If I print this now, TDI course, okay, TDI course. So if I print this, you see that it has automatically changed to management information system science. So you just see that it's just like where you had maybe water in a container, and then after some time you now change the content that is inside that container to maybe oil, right? So when you get that container now, it is the content is now oil, not the water you initially saved inside. So that's how variables are reassignable. Once you reference the exact variable name and put another value inside, then the value will update to the current value, unless we now decide to bring this one here and let it be after this, right? So it becomes data science. So it will, when this one run, it will save in the memory as management information system science. Then it comes to the next line and run. Then it sees this new value. So it updates the value inside this container. Then when you print, it will display this. So likewise, if we still change it, if we take this one up, so you see that it's interchangeably like changing. It will display the most current value, the most current reassigned value. That's what it will display because it updates, right? So that's what we mean that variables are reassignable. Okay, so let's continue to our data types. So we have the strings. So basically, we've already worked with strings. So string name, or maybe let's say fruit. Remember that this variable name is it does not determine the data type um of the item or the value. It is the value you enter here that determines the data type. So fruit, let's put apples, and when we run it, because anything now anything quoted, any value that is even quoted already, Python sees it as a string, so it will not see it as numeric. But and so let's check, where is this? Yeah, so we have fruit as a string, Okay, let me use. Remember that also it's important to use commenting. So in Python, single line commenting use hashtag. So string data type. Then we can create a Boolean data type. So condition check equals to true. So when you're working with Boolean, remember Boolean is either true or false, right? And they are reserved keywords. We treated reserved keywords yesterday. So Boolean Boolean data values are reserved keywords. So it's either true or false. So it's either this or this, right? And you see that it auto picks in blue, which means it's a special value in Python already. So this is true. So the value is true. So we are checking a condition to see if it is true. Then we have integers. So integers are, so let me see, numbers of students. So we are checking number of students. So it's usually best to use so that you can differentiate. So number of students, let's say we're putting there are 20 students in then also for, so maybe kilos speed limit also, so or speed per hour, and then we have 10.5. So if you're observant, so this is Boolean data type. So if you're observant, you will see that it is only the string data type that is quoted when we declare value for it. So here we have integer. Here we have integer, and then here we have Boolean. Bool. Yeah. So you see that it's only the string data type that is quoted, right? Every other one is not quoted. And let's run and check the data type. Cannot assign to expression. Cannot assign to expression here. Maybe we meant okay. So because of the special
You float.
yeah. Oh yeah, float. So this is float. So any number with decimal point is treated is a float number. Any whole number is integer. So when you're checking condition, any value that returns true or false is Boolean. So if you're checking whether something is true or false, so it's Boolean. And then of course strings data type strings are character based data. So let us check to see if truly this these variables matches the data type we say that they are. How do you do that? We have something called type. So we'll check type, colon function type, and okay, so fruits. So let's replicate this for all of the value. So here condition. Let's see. So we want to check their data type. Let's see what their data type is. So one good thing with working with Jupyter Note, with Colab is that it uses AI, so it auto suggests for you. So for as a beginner, it will be very helpful. So let's print. Print. So I want to display the data types for all of this. Remember, anywhere you open, you must close. So we see that the first one is a string, which is true. The second one is Boolean, true. Class, the third one is int, yes, it's whole number, and the other one is float. So this is how maybe you get a data and you are not sure of the data type that is within the range, or the data type of the values in that range, right? You can use the type function to check what data type it is before you continue, because of course now you've done analysis with other tools. You will need to investigate during your data investigation stage. You want to investigate what what is the content of your data, what is it, before you begin your analysis, right? So the type function comes in handy for where you're not sure of the data type. And of course, we have something called typecasting. So you can decide to change your data type from one data type to another. Often you always convert from other data types to string instead, right? Because you cannot change a string data to a numeric data. So oftentimes your typecasting is changing from other data types to string. And one easier way to do that is the easiest way to do that is, say we want to change any of I wanted it to be bigger. So let's imagine that I want to change any of these above data types to string, right? We just do, so what's the value of this one here? So we had this here true, Control C. So you notice that when we declared other variables up here, is only the string data type that is quoted. So if you want to convert data from any of these other um format to a string, just quote it automatically becomes a string. So now with quote, you can quote either the single or double quote works, just that it has to be uniform. If you start with a single quote, you have to close with a single quote. If you start with a double quote, you have to close with a double quote. So let's run now and check the data type of type. So let's check the type of this. So you see that it has changed to string, right? So you can use the quotes to change from any format to the other. Now you might be thinking, well, it's not making sense. Yes, it's not making sense yet, but eventually you will get to make sense. There was a day I and someone, he had a project, so he reached out like, Omo, Anatu, I'm stuck. So we started hustling. It was just a little change in data type that would have done and we could do the operation. But because we didn't pay attention to the data type, we were just trying. It was about like after like 3 hours. And then we now realized that, but it is a numeric data. So usually if you want to remove white space, right, the dot strip in Python, so there's a function called dot strip. You only use it on you don't use it on numeric data. So the row we wanted to remove this thing was numeric. So we're just trying. But then so you can just use that, change it to string, remove the white space, then convert it back to numeric data, and then you'll be good. So things, these are like foundations. So at this point, it might not be making sense yet. So please just still stay on track, right? It's not like I just want to lead you astray into the bush. It's we use this to build on concepts for proper data analysis skills. Yeah, so you can convert um this way, or you can also use the to type. So let's use so condition. Hmm. Okay, so because this is already in string. Okay, so let me rerun this. So now I've run this part, right? It has overridden this one. This was the last one we ran before, which means it had updated the type to string. But I came and ran this first cell, so it has reversed it back here until if I run this one again before it will update it. So right now it has reversed it back to their normal data type. So let's use this dot to string to um yes. Okay, so it's still a string. I've updated it now. Okay, so it's still seeing it as a string. Okay, I'm running the wrong place. Okay. Okay, so this is where we declared it. I was running the wrong place. So this is where we declared it. So now it has reversed back to Boolean, right? So I can now use this dot to string. Condition check. Okay. Here's this. Speed. Okay. Uh, PD, that's a string. Okay, so I have to import numpy. Okay, so let me just leave it. When we get to libraries importation, right? So we will do that conversion. So you see that we can use the, so you can just use the quotes to change the data type, basically other data types to string. That is how you can do typecasting. So this function, we'll use it when we get to library importation. Excuse me. Yeah. So after we've learned how to create variables, how to create variables that take input, and then how we can convert from from other data types to string, right? So that's called typecasting. Then we will also look at um operators. So they are operators that help us to manipulate these data types. So for instance, if you want to perform numeric operation, if you want to add values together, you need operators that support numeric operations to manipulate data. Likewise, if you want to work um with strings, say you want to concatenate strings, or you want to change a um from one case to the other, maybe from uppercase to lowercase, there are functions that helps you to do that. So we get to what is called Python operators. So we have Python operators. Mm, we have We also have assignment operators. So the assignment operators are basically what helps us to assign values to item. And we've been working with one of the assignment operators. I think I've been mentioning it since Tuesday, the equal to operator. So the equal to operator is what helps us to assign values to our variable, right? So it is the most commonly used assignment operator, right? Or they are the most popular. So the assignment operator is what we use to assign value um to variables, and the popular one is the equal to operator. We also have other operators like the um okay, so no, let's start with arithmetic operator because we use so basically the arithmetic operators help us to perform arithmetic functions on numeric values, of course. So because we do arithmetic operations, definitely we'll be working with um the numeric data types, which is either pi which is either boolean or integer. Oh my god, which is either integer or float, right? So that's the arithmetic operators we work with. And then we have different arithmetic operators. One, which is the addition operator, which we use the plus. So the plus sign is used to add. One of the arithmetic operators, plus sign, is for addition, which we know. So we have, say, 5 plus 6, right? So we can do print 5 plus 6. So it returns this value. And we can also decide to go further and create a variable. So a variable for each of them. So we say first value, or let's use first value or first number equals to 6. Second number, or number 2. Remember that variables can be alphanumeric, right? But then the numbers should not begin the name. So we can have here 7. So let's use the same. So number 1, let's stick to the same. Variables cannot have space in between, right? So we've declared values for, so number 1, the value is 6, number 2 value is 7. So we can now say print number 1 and number 2. So basically saying that check inside this variable, so inside this container, the values that are here, add them up together. Okay, so there is white space. So we see that we've created uh uh we've performed an arithmetic operation for this using the plus sign, right? So we also have other arithmetic operations. The asterisk, I mean this asterisk sign, uh, so this sign performs multiplication. So we can also, instead of declaring another value, so we can just say number one times number two. So it's so there's an error here you can see in the naming, and when we run it, so Omolola, when you were asking that how do you know if your program ran correctly, if it is not correctly ran, you must have an error. So you see that here we have an error. What's the error here? It said number one is not defined, because we don't have any variable that has number one. Remember we said that variables are case sensitive. So there is no any we don't have anything called number one in all in lowercase. So we change it here. We change it to be uppercase, and it has. So we run and you see it's 42. So we and remember that it is not this number two, number one we're looking at. It is the value that is stored inside. So it's when to check 6. What is the value stored in number one? 6. What is the value stored in number two? 7. Oya, multiply both of them together, and then we have 42. Right. So let's so I remember that we said that the arithmetic operators work with both floats and integers, right? So let's try to perform an operation. Okay, Mr. Alfred.
Yes, when you were doing the multiplication, you didn't start with print. Like, is that how it's supposed to be? Or you
Oh,
can do without print.
okay, yeah. So often you can display without the print function. So oftentimes you can display without the print function, but there are cases. So let's say there are times where if we have, let me have another thing here, you see that it's only one that will run. So that's why so let me have multiple functions here. You see that it will always run when you have multiple in one cell, and you don't use the print, it will just display for you only the last one, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so you just so if you want to have like everything displayed, then you can have this, and then also have print. But then it's always safer to print, like to use your print, right? So you see now it displays all. Yeah. So what was I trying to do? Okay, so I was trying to say, remember that the arithmetic functions work on both integer and float. And among these values here, who can tell which one is integer and which one is float?
42 is integer, and then 0.8 is float.
Yeah. Favor.
Okay, ma, please. You said his name was we are going to use the print. Is he for all or just for this particular one?
Okay, all the IDEs, right? They auto display for you even without the print for some not in all cases. Just for instance, if you want to say maybe you want to display hello world, you cannot. Okay. Yeah, so you can print. So but then it's safer because let's say as we tried here, we had multiple. It will only display the last running operation, right? So it's always safer for you to use the print. It's just that so it's always safer for you to use the print at all cases, until when you become very conversant, and then um you've understood all like the environment tricks, you get, then you can. Yeah. Okay, yes, so this is float. This is the float 0.857, and this is integer. So floats are decimal point numbers, integers are whole numbers. So here we've used number. What is the number? The first number, which is 6, divide it by 7, and then we have 0.857, right? So we also have another divisor, which is called the floor function. So this, when you divide with the single slash, it gives you um the result in uppercase, I mean in floating number. But what if you don't want this decimal point number, you just want to return the whole number, right? Then you will use the double slash. So the double slash will get rid of any decimal space and return only the whole number. So here let's use so maybe 100 and 105 divided by 7, or 45 divided by 2. So you see that it is 42. It returns only the whole number, right? So let's also use this, and then let's do this too. Mm, okay. So let's do this is this. So this will return the whole number, like the whole number without the remainder. So it ignores the float. After the decimal point, it ignores it. It returns only the whole number of the division, while this returns the division including the remainder, which is now it now converts it to float, or to decimal point. Then here it will only return only the remainder. It will ignore the division, that like it will ignore the value of the division and return only the remainder. So 45 divided by 2, we have a remainder of 1. So this function or this operator is called the modulus. We use the percentage sign, and it is called modulus. and it returns only the remainder of the division. Returns only the remainder. So it returns only the remainder of the division. This returns the entire division in decimal places. Value in decimal places. Yes, sir, Mr. Alfred.
Okay, the modular that you were talking about, in what case do we, or are we going to need only the remainder?
Okay, so still have time. So for instance, you want to check, okay, so let's write a small um so let's check if 2 or if 8 modulus 3 is equals to 0, then return divisible. We want to print divisible by 3. Okay, so not divisible if okay, so it's not equals to okay, so let's do 2 divided. Okay, so expected and indent if okay, so the condition meets, that's why it's not okay. So can you see, so here this program says check if 8 is, when you divide 8 by 3, if it does not return 0, then it means that the number is not divisible by 3. So there are situations where you want to check, when we begin to check conditional scenarios, right, just like this one. So sometimes you might have numbers, or you might have a collection that you want to check based on criteria. So you use the modulus to check, maybe for division or for remainder. You could be working with finance numbers, or yes, with amounts, and you want to check a criteria, right? So that's where we use the modulus. Mr. Alfred, did that answer your question?
Yeah.
So as I said, if just be following along. So at this point, it's like it's all messy. You're not seeing the application, right? But eventually you get to see it translated, into to use. Was it Favor that raised up her hand? I don't know. Someone raised up their hands.
Anna?
Yes, Omolola.
Yeah, yeah, please. I just wanted to clarify. This your the instruction you gave it, you said if, I think there's a full stop there, X, then this is a percentage sign. Is percentage sign division in Python?
Yeah, so let me clean this part. I just wanted to show Mr. Yeah. So this is where we are, that brought us here. Leave this one that I did, just leave it first. We'll get there later. Just leave it first. So this is what brought us to that part. So this percentage sign is called modulus, and what it does is to give the remainder of a division. So if I divide 5 by 2, I give me the remainder. I don't want what is the value that is divided by, is the remainder I'm after. That's what modulus does. It is just after the remainder. While this one slash divides the number and gives you both the division value and the remainder. So it then presents the value in decimal point, just like we see here, 45 divided by 2, we have 22.5. So it gave you the value of the division and also the remainder, which becomes a float. Then while the flow function, it divides and ignores the remainder. So it doesn't, nothing concerns it with the remainder. It's just after the division value. So 45 divided by 2, it gives you 22 and ignores the one remainder. So modulus and flow function, they are like opposites of themselves. So this is where we are. Ignore the other parts, just leave it first. We have not reached there. So are we good? Okay, are we good? Okay, great. Yeah, so there are other arithmetic operators, and we can actually not exhaust them in this section. So with the link I gave you, you'll be able to explore, other parts that we do not exhaust in the class, right? Then yeah, so these are some of the arithmetic operators that you use to perform um mathematical operations. Then we also have the assignment operators. So I wanted us, because some of the assignment operators has the maths operators incorporated in them. That was why I skipped it. That's why I started with this first. So we have assignment operators. Yeah, so the assignment operators basically are what helps us to assign values. So let me make this so let me delete it. Yeah. So the assignment operators are basically what helps us to assign values, just as we have done earlier, to do course name equals to data science. So this equal to now is our assignment operator. It is what is assigning this value inside this variable or container. So that is why it is the assignment operator. So it is what says the value that is here, save it inside here. So it's the assignment operator. Yeah. Then yeah, so we're already familiar with this. Let us move to the next assignment operator. So we'll have other assignment operators. We have the plus equal to. So plus equal to. So the plus equal to basically increases value. So it basically functions with numeric values, yeah, either integer or string. So the plus equal to increases value by a set of number. So we have number one already, ba? So we can say number one plus equal to 3, right? What is the value of number one here? Let us print number one first. Let's see. So let's print what is the value of number one. So the value of number one is 6. Now we want number one to increase by 3. How is it 6? Let me run it from okay. Okay, I think I had run it before. So you see that number one, the value of number one is 6. And we say number one plus equals to 3. It means that we want number one to increase by 3. So when we print number one, we'll have 1. If we run it again, it becomes 12. Why? You know that we said that variables are reassignable. So now this value now, number one has been updated in the memory space to have the value of 12. So when we run it, it now means that we're saying the current value of number one in the memory space, add 3 to it. So now we have we have number one in memory space saved as 12. We want to add 3 to it. It becomes 15, right? So for instance, so this line of code is the same thing as no. So it basically just increases. Likewise, so you can combine the the assignment operators with practically all the arithmetic operators, right, to perform. So you can also merge plus modulos, and it will perform the operation of modulos. So let's say we want 18 modulos equal to no, so let's not use modulos. So let's continue. Number 1 is now 18, right? So want it to be divided by 2. So at each instance now, number 1 will be divided by 2, and you know that this single slash, it means that it will return the value in float. So let's print. We've run it before, if we run it again, it will give us a wrong answer. So let me come down and insert a new. So let's print number 1, or let's reassign this has affected it. So let me run it again. So here, so I want to increase it by, okay, so here I want to save it to memory. So let's give it division is equals to, so when this is divided by 2, it will be saved inside here. Multiply by, number 1, okay. Mm, okay. Okay. I think because, so number 1, then multiply equal to 2. Yeah. So so when you print it, so this is the same as saying 6 So the value of number 1 is 6 bar. So it's the same thing as saying 6 times 2. So it's the same thing as saying that the initial value times 2. So it keeps increasing the value times 2, right? So you can combine this with all other arithmetic operators that we've treated with the slash. So when we print, we can also have the double modulus. So you see that you can just combine all to create the arithmetic operators. Yeah, so the resource link I shared with you, you can just dedicate like 30 minutes daily to just read a topic, so that it gives you clearer understanding of the topics. So far, are we good so far? Are we trying our hands on our own device? It's cold here. Is anybody speaking? Okay. Okay. So we're going to have a long break between now from now till next Tuesday. So I will share okay. So yeah, so within the week I will share like a quiz link, just what you would have learned so far. You just try your hands on and test your knowledge, how much you've learned. It's not going to it's not graded, it's not going to determine your certification. It just so it helps you to be able to track your learning, to say, oh, well, because sometimes you might be in class and it's like, this thing is not, you're not understanding. But when you take quizzes or exercises, sometimes I'm like, so I know this thing. So you see that you use it to measure how much you're learning, right? So it's not going to be anything serious, right? But try to take it before um the class. So I'll share it before the weekend and you can try your hands on. Yeah, so we'll be ending the session for now, for today here. And feel free to reach out to my DM if there's any thing you still want to clarify. And also dedicate at least 30 minutes daily. Just skim through, even if it's just like skim through, you can just pick, you can pick one thing in that 30 minutes. So it's going to be really helpful. And also try your hands on programming. You need to try your hands on. When you encounter an error, don't panic, just scroll down to the last. You will see what the error is. It will point you to where the problem is. um so when you see error, don't panic. You keep getting error. No matter how pro you are, you still keep getting errors. So don't be scared of error when you are working. Yes, Mr. Alfred.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, the recordings, do you upload it in the drive, in the Google Drive?
Yeah, so I created it in an unlisted YouTube. So it's on YouTube, but it's unlisted. So it's only those with the link that have access to. And I've shared the link to the group. Yeah, so the link is in the group, and to other resources too, they are on the group. So I'll also upload this to, not tonight, I'm so sorry, but hopefully before the end of tomorrow, it will be up there. Not hopefully, definitely before the end of tomorrow, it will be there. Yeah, so thank you so much for your active participation, and have a lovely evening and a good night rest.